Hey there, and welcome back to OpenFire. For this video, I decided to take it easy, with just a lot of work and some commentary. No fancy concepts, schedules, or coding, just gonna hop in and out and talk about what I'm working on. See here, I'm working on the battle menu, because for a while it's been looking pretty simple. It's fashioned out of what the ones in Mega Man Battle Networks looks like. So you can see me popping in and out of Google just to use it as reference. While I'm working on that, however, I wanted to make the cards look a little bit better. So you can see me here in Asset. I wanted to find a way to show more information on the card at first glance. So one way of doing that was to put these like marker symbols that represented the stage. Then I'm trying to block out how the different kinds of information, like the title of the card and how much damage it deals. You see me back on the battle select menu, and you can see me working out the different measurements of the different parts I have. Those arrows and the crossing it's planned for a certain kind of mechanic that I want in the game later on. Something about how you order your cards from start to finish. But we'll get into that much more later on. Now I'm using the card select as a basis for the other half of the menu, which is just going to hold a few buttons for now. The buttons are shuffle and go, however I do have a different plan later on, as you'll see later. Now we're blocking out again number 1 to 5 because I want you to have the ability to order the cards in the battle. Now these buttons are looking quite better, as you can see that I left the space. Now moving on to the reload bar. I believe in Mega Man Battle Network it's called the custom gauge, one of those words. It allows you to send in custom commands to Mega Man, but for here we're just calling it the reload bar, boys. Now I'm trying to draw in a sort of announcement, or that would say when the level is cleared. I'm trying to base it on the stage, the composition of the stage. It's just gonna be up there and say cleared whenever you finish the level. Though I haven't actually implemented that in the game at all yet, since it seemed like a really quick thing to add. Here I am back on the card. I didn't quite like how it was looking, so I went back and stripped some more of the details. Now I'm just going back and forth different items. I exported them using a script on Sprite, so now I can pick and choose different things and pick them apart. So like this one, since in Godot the texture buttons usually have multiple textures for when it's being clicked, for when you're hovering over it. That's what I'm doing here now, so I'm showing the different states of the button and setting them all one by one. We are also getting a bit of a glimpse of the dialogue system, well, dialogue sprites, and how I'm breaking it apart in order to put it into Godot later on. As you can see, I just kind of go back and forth between the different parts. I'm focusing now on the marker system, so I wanted a lot of different kinds of colors that may appear later on. However, honestly, right now I'm not feeling this marker system as much. I might have made it more complicated than I needed it to. So really in this part of the work, it's just a lot of fidgeting around, looking at what looks nice. I'm hopping into a bit of code here in order to make markers appear on, well, like a marker scene that shows up on the cards. However, I haven't gotten around to fully implementing it. Not even sure if I want to keep it, but right now I set it to randomly show up. You might see a bit more of it later when I'm testing it and running it on Godot. Speaking of Godot, I'm there and I'm putting in the buttons. A nice thing about working from Asset into Godot is you can just import everything in, and as long as you have the measurements already prepared beforehand, then it's all just gonna fit in quite well. But you can see me still having a bit of issues with just control nodes in general and how finicky they are. I heard that it got a lot easier in Godot 4. However, there's just way too much code that I would need to convert for me to even consider going to Godot 4 for this project. Maybe once I finally finish it, I'll transfer it there. So yeah, I spent a lot of time on a system that I'm not even sure if I'm gonna continue. But I remember that I wanted to have some sort of cursor that goes around the battle components. So you see me kind of drawing in a crosshair now and then. And again, I jump back and forth and I notice something's not working, and the card select screen wasn't working. So here I am jumping back and forth both the stage and the card select, fixing the animations. Now I'm looking at the stage because I'm not quite sold on how it looks right now. So I was thinking of rearranging it. Nice thing is the work I've done earlier made it so that I don't have that many things to worry about. As long as I keep the general structure the same, then the code's still gonna work. So here I am fixing some bugs with the stage, I believe. That got a bit knocked up. So I'm gonna flash them back and forth, going through all the errors that pop up, hopefully fixing it. I believe most of these errors are actually on the battle select system, so slowly I'm able to start moving again, but there's still much to fix there. And here I am finally changing up how the tiles look. So I was looking at Mega Man Battle Network again, seeing how they did it, and I may have overcomplicated how the tiles looked. I do think that they should stray in the more simple side. However, I was having a bit of fun with it, but altogether it didn't really look all that pleasing. So this first one goes for a more like heavy metallic system, heavy metallic aesthetic style. However, I like overall I wanted the style to be more simplistic and light and colorful. However, so a lot of this really just gets scrapped by the end, but it's fun to see how much work I tried to put into making it work out. Yeah, so of course I need to also match it to the red tiles and so on both sides. And here I've gone back to making it bright. However, the whole 3D tile static doesn't really stay for long either. Of course, if I'm going to adjust the tiles, I have to adjust different parts, such as the tracking cursor, as well as the flash. You saw me jump into Notepad++ for a bit there. This is me trying to work on saving and loading system. However, here I am going back to the tiles because I just simply didn't like how they look. Even tried a hexagon tile, but I knew right away that it wasn't gonna look nice. Of course, there's gotta be broken tiles. So now I'm back to a more simple, very regular style. I wanted to change back to this rectangular look because well, the battle menu was pretty square and I didn't want it to have weird tangents along with the previous diagonal structure. Now you can see that I kind of made the window much smaller while I'm testing. I'm blocking in the deck editor. Earlier in the video you saw me block in the battle select menu. Now I'm doing a similar process for the deck editor. So I'm breaking it apart into its simple pieces. I'm looking at its references and then I'm putting in some of the pre-made things that I've already made. Right now it's looking a lot more like Mega Man. Actually, this style of menu selection is taking inspiration from Hearthstone and the like, where you see the full card and it gets put into like a small deck system. So it's pretty much more similar to the one that I already had, except you get to see a lot more information from the start. So here I am going through Pinterest again for this is the one that looks a lot more like Hearthstone. So you have the icons and the names on the side. However, and I still wanted the bag to be prominent where you can see what you had and just add it in no matter what. But I really wanted there to be some sort of deck viewer like in the original Mega Man, card viewer in the original Mega Man Battle Network game. I really wanted that window on the left that showed the information whenever you selected the card. Now this next process is polishing, fine-tuning, adding the borders, making sure that measurements would catch up, would properly show up on Godot later on. I had a hard time trying to plan out how the cards are gonna stick out when you only have so much resolution. It would be hard to shrink down the cards as is because they're already in a pixelated style, so there's not much resolution going in there, so I had to be careful. And you can see that in this work I was actually able to free up a bit of space on the left side, which I'll use more later, but you can see that I'm spacing out the card viewer on the left side well. So I'm adding in my borders and I'm sectioning off the bottom side for a confirm button, much like the one you saw in the valve select system earlier. Now I'm doing the same thing on the right side, redoing a few of the choices I made, but I was able to remeasure them and fit in all the different, uh, all, like the cards, the yellow boxes at the top, and yes. Then I separate them between text and things that aren't actually supposed to stick. So, and yeah, again, I export them using a script, and I'm able to, well, kind of tear apart the old deck editor scene that I had. But of course, that came with a lot of redoing some of the old code as well. So this is the code for the preview for the deck, and I had to make it fit into the new system that I had. Previously, my system for the bag was it didn't actually show cards, it just showed a small list version of it, where it wasn't really that interesting to look at. You won't be able to see the card art until you select the thing, so I felt like that was a bit sad. Here I am again being a bit finicky with controls in general, and again pixel art resolution issues. A font I'm using now, the VCR Mono, something like that. I think it really fits the type that I'm going for, and I'm able to scale it up and down well with my current assets, so it's been very handy and useful. I'm just now having to troubleshoot some issues. You can see the deck editor going through a few back and forths, so I have to fix that, of course. But you can slowly see it starting to work. There. Right now I can put cards from the deck back into the bag, however I don't know how to get cards from the bag back into the deck. So to recap, I was able to change the battle system, and here's a new dialogue system that looks much better than before. Here's the battle system, it's a lot more clean, looks a lot more like a game actually, I'd like to think. And we have the deck editor, which still needs a bit of work, but it's looking much more compact, much more slick, and I'm excited about that. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I am the Noontime Gamer. Have a lovely afternoon, and never stop dreaming.